This is my big sister Stacey, and this is Sister's Social Call.
We are two sisters talking about everything that sisters talk about. Welcome to our lives. Well, hey, sissy.
Hi, sis. How's it going?
I'm great. Happy real birthday to you today.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pretty fabulous day, but let me tell you, it is only getting better right now. So you have heard me talking often about my women's group that I have been a part of, and I know loads of you are dying to know so much more. And it only seemed fitting that we brought Christine, who is my somatic practitioner. She is here today. She's going to tell us everything that you could possibly want to know, because I know I can't do it justice, because I get so excited when I start talking about it that I think I'm like here, there, and everywhere. And so Christine is here with us today to talk to you about that and to just have this wonderful conversation. I did the 2 back-to-back 6-week group somatic therapy sessions with Christine. So I'm going to read her bio, and then we're just going to get right into it. So Christine Borschneck, RMT, SEP, NMT, erotic blueprint coach, Usui, Reiki master, is a many-storied professional body worker and therapist specializing in trauma. Her combination of skills ushers her clients into deep transformation, resulting in the most well-rounded people possible. Since trauma can appear in the body in many ways, Christine makes sure to tackle all areas of well-being to find the key issues that a person is struggling with. She addresses aspects of both physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health while understanding how they are intertwined. Christine's work in sexuality and sex education has been extremely beneficial and has allowed many couples to overcome the barriers to intimacy and helping them achieve positive communication methods, which removes the shame and anxiety surrounding that aspect of their lives. The safe, loving, and non-judgmental space that she holds for each person while sharing her knowledge of trauma, the physical body, nutrition, sensuality, self-love, and energy is key to her practice. Christine makes sure the individuals walk away embracing a fearless and passionate version of themselves that gives them the ability to take control of their lives. You have so many designations and skills, Christine. You are amazing. Can you share with us your journey? And truly, I'm so curious about this, because every time I come to see you, I get to tell you everything about me. And I've been trying to just get deep into this part. How did you start this? When did you know you had this gift and you had to share it with the world? And tell us everything. Tell everybody everything.
You got it. Well, I just want to let you guys know I am so happy to be here with both of you. So I'm super honored to be able to have this call with both of you and just to share in whatever way I can. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say that the work found me. I was a little young person who had a really nice deep trauma history, and it really did bring about a ton of the gifts of depth of intuition and being able to read between the lines and being able to read a room and read energy. And so when I came into the work, pretty much the work found me. It really is my soul's calling for real. And so it was less about, I have this big thing that I want to do, and more about every time something was presented to me, I just kept saying yes. In the beginning, I thought I was going to do all this energy stuff. And then I thought I was going to be a counselor or a social worker. And I thought that will eat me up. I feel stuff so deeply. I will get eaten alive. So then I thought, well, what else do I love? And I'm like, I love naked bodies.
You do. You do.
I love them.
This I know about you.
And so, I went into massage, and then from massage, I just really recognized that, people would hold these tension patterns within their bodies and not know what to do with them. And we would start talking about life. And then all of a sudden, their body would release. And I was like, there's something here. I would put out a call to the universe, God, Mother Nature, Source, whatever you want to call it. and just say, like, what's the next piece? What's the next place that I'm meant to go? You know, use me. Like, I want to be a vessel for something in this life. And so then I got into somatic experiencing. And so then I found how to move, you know, how to help people and usher people back into their bodies in a safe way. And then from there, you know, you release the trauma, and all of a sudden all this beautiful life force comes back into the body. And often it comes as sexuality, as creative energy, as this desire to want to live in a bigger way. So then I just started to get into sex coaching. And then I started to, you know, and so it has come back around to um energy. So it's just one big ball of this beautiful tapestry that I get to call life, and I get to call the work in the world that I do. So it really found me. Every step it found me.
How long have you been doing this for?
25 years with designations. And I started like the energy work. I started when I was 16 years old. So when it was way before it was cool, way before. I don't know how I stumbled upon these things, but I just did. I just knew that I was meant for, I knew my trauma and my own life circumstances and the things that I was gifted could not be for nothing, could not be for naught. And I really truly believed that. And so a lot of it was just like innocent naivety, like just kind of like going, well, this is going to work and this is going to work. And people just trusted it, and people trusted me. And so they let me take them into places that, you know, I really forged places in my life and in my work that no one showed me how to do it, but clients showed me how to do it. Like we just together, shoulder to shoulder, we moved and we tried and we experimented. And so it's been a long time, you know, 25 years in the RMT world. It's where I started. Like a long long time, a few more years more in the energetic world. So it's been a long time. It's my life's work.
Well, you are so gifted. I reached out to find somebody, and another friend of all of ours, actually, another Christine, is the one who recommended you to me. I knew that the minute that I met you that we were meant to connect. Like I knew that. I was like, "Oh, we are cut from a very similar cloth." And so I
Yes.
just knew right away that I knew I was meant to see you. You've
I
changed my life.
Wow, and I'll take that in because I think you really hit something that's really important, which was cut from the same cloth. And I really believe that when you are around other people who are willing to be vulnerable, who are willing to not judge, who are willing to hold us in our truth, I really believe that that's the carrier wave for healing and potentiality within our lives. And so it was really easy to see you, Krista. It was really easy to hold you, and it was really easy to see the beauty within, and it was so easy to pluck that.
Well, I'm going to take that in myself right now, actually. You've definitely taught me so much. And I know that our relationship together will be forever. And so um I I I want us to talk about You Make Sense because so many people have heard me talk little bits about it, and I never really got really into the depth of it. Christine, the work that happened in You Make
Mhm.
Sense, I know, like, that changes people's lives. We witnessed it ourselves, and I seriously think that could be so beneficial to so many people, and so it just the little bits I've talked about, it is people are so curious about it, and I just would love for you to talk about that so people can understand what that really truly was and what the whole idea was behind it.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I really created that because I saw in my practice how people's inner landscapes of who they are, their emotions, their sensations, how they believe in themselves really don't make sense to themselves or others. So how can you ever feel fulfilled if you don't know your own inner landscape to be able to ever ask for another human being to hold you, love you, see you, understand you. And so it was birthed from a place of true belief that our feelings, our experiences, our bodies are absolutely not mistakes. And they're signals. They're signals to us. And when we learn how to decipher our signals, our body signals, we make sense, a whole lot of sense. And, I was doing this in my one-on-one practice, but I really, really believe, with the core of who I am, that you put women together in a very safe way and you will see profound repair, profound changes, because, we're all just looking to be seen. We're all just looking to be heard, to be understood, to be held within within our lives right now. We are so photoshopped. One of the sayings I always have is like, everybody just has so many filters and we're so photoshopped. It's as if we believe everybody is farting cupcakes. Like, everybody is so put together and perfect, quote unquote. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not reality. The reality is we're human. The reality is we have common humanity, which is deep feelings, which is thoughts that we would feel shameful for even ever telling another human being. But when you get around a group of women who are willing to truly dive deep and look at themselves, you open up an oasis within that says, holy doodle, I'm not as screwed up as I thought I was. I have hurts, I have pains, I have trials and tribulations, I have bliss, and I have pleasure all at my fingertips in the same moment. And that can be really confusing, right? And so, it was really, I really believe that in a group, you can move mountains, because one person can be the kind of the representative for the whole group. If one person is, really, really rumbling with, let's say, self-doubt or body shame or whatever, they become the conduit for the whole group. And that is a gift. And I hold it with deep, deep reverence. So even though I was the one who created a container, and I was the one who created safety, and I was the one who gave the permissions and really set it up in a very, very deep way, it's the people who show up raw, bold, real, willing to rumble, willing to not know, willing to say, I have no clue how I'm wired. What I don't know my nervous system. My nervous system hijacks me. I don't know about my eroticism. I don't fit the normal, TV looking kind of eroticism, sensuality. Or, why does my mind loop? It's just, there's so many things that can become available when you get at a bunch of people willing to unlock.
I have a quick question for you, Christine. I was going to ask like the differences between individual and group practice, but you've explained that really well. But are there people that are better for individual versus group work?
Yeah, Stacey, for sure. I believe that, there's some things we have, like, if we have not been really held in something that's been very painful to us, it's really important to have that one-on-one work to really find that missing link, the thing that you didn't get at the time that whatever situation happened, to really have that held for you, to really have that seen for you, to really have that validated, or some really individual work. However, I have seen it also shift in group. The thing with this is, in group work, and Krista, you can attest to this. No one felt comfortable walking into that room.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, everybody was nervous. Everybody, I call it nervited, nervous and excited,
Exactly. That's exactly it. It was like the unknown. I think for me, and I would say probably for everybody else too, but we're so used to control, like having control over and knowing how things are going to work out. We went in and it was like we didn't know what we were really truly getting into. And I think that was like the super exciting part and the nervous part, and also just letting, well, as you would say, let it be so. Like, just let it be and just go in there with that open mind. I would say I've experienced a lot of great changes and personal growth working with you one-on-one. And then I knew that it was time for me to do that because I was curious about it the year before. And so I knew it was like, this is presenting itself to me again because I'm meant to do this now. And it hit all the things that I think I've been terrified to really get into. In fact, number one thing being vulnerable around a group of women. I can talk a lot about myself, but I never get deep into how things make me feel because of the job that I do. I let everybody else do that. It was incredible to do that around a group of women.
Well, let's be let's be real. I mean, how many of us have been hurt by other women?
Hmm.
Like everybody's hand will go up. And what are we craving? What are we yearning for? What is our soul yearning for? To be in connection, deep, intimate connection, at least the folks that I hang with. There's lots of people who don't want connection or don't want depth or intimacy. That's cool. That's not who resonates with me. But if you
Yeah.
do, then it's like you gotta get to work and start to heal some of the wounds that we've done to each other as women. The comparison, the jealousy, the tear downs, and so one of the things that was so profound to watch in the You Make Sense groups was, and I mean truly women rooting for women. Like everybody is holding impeccable love and desire to watch women rise. And I don't know a lot of places you see that. And so of course you're not going to have words. We talked about this in class a lot. Like a lot of things are ineffable. There's not a lot of words because it's a felt sense. It's in your body. You start to feel safe. Well, holy cow, I didn't know I wasn't feeling safe. And then you start feeling safe around other women. Holy doodle. Well, that's unheard of. And then you start feeling safe when you're being vulnerable. Hoo-wee. That gives you your life back because you can take that out into the real world and start to be able to make sense of your triggers, make sense of your life, make sense of how you're feeling, more of what to ask for, not ask for, more of what you're willing to put up with, not willing to put up with.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal. And not having to do it alone. We all know. I mean, I'm guilty of this, of really feeling like I've got to go at it alone. No one understands me. No one understands this. No one understands that. So, here I am. I have tenacity and I'm powerful and I can do it myself. And now in my life, it's like, yeah, I can, but I don't want to. I want to lock arms with other women who are like, I'm in the mud right now. It's like, yeah, only for a moment. No problem. We'll dust you off, pop you up your little bum, and let's rock and roll. Let's go. Your soul's got shit to do. Like, it's time to move it.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful thing watching, in the groups, just the amalgamation and the merging amongst women. Really profound for me.
Do you go in with an agenda, like almost like a syllabus in your mind, or this is our first class and we're just going to flow from here? Like, do you have an outline of what you're going to do each week? Like, I know that's very practical, but I think people are like curious, what does this look like?
Yeah, well, the first 6 weeks are much more structured because you do need to build some of the groundwork. You need to learn how to actually, that your body, you can be in your body without, completely collapsing or, like, it's like, holy cow, I have this amazing body. For the first 6 weeks, there are themes that we go through and they build on one another. And then closer to the end of the class, we all have an ability to have reflection time, which allows us to integrate the information we're learning. And so if we learn something, let's say about shame, then people can start to rumble with it and look at it. And then we start to make sense of why this is, what's going on. What are the mechanics of it? What can we do with it? We can bring awareness. We can bring some shared experience. And that in and of itself, it starts to untangle it. And so the second set of You Make Sense, the next 6 weeks, in both the classes I've ran, it looks different every time because each group brings a flavor, a really, really potent and tangible flavor. And it usually drops for me the week before the class starts. And then it'll just be like, and I just get it. And I'm like, okay, we're working this, 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 and this. And by this time, people are feeling a lot more willing to get into their stuff. And so there's some rumbling that happens. There's some looking and introspection. And so to be able to bring that to the group and actually talk about it, oh man, it's like magic. The shame just dissipates off of it. And I get that anybody who's listening to this, they're like, yeah, no, that ain't for me. I wouldn't want to talk about that, like as if, like not on my best day. However, if you went underneath that, you'd feel the yearn, you'd feel the desire to be seen and to be loved and to be heard and to be held in the most authentic way possible. The true way, the one that doesn't carry judgment or shame, or just like you are you. How much more of you can you show up being?
I think as women, we can put like those hard shells up around ourselves. No, I don't want that. I don't need that. And like you said, everybody's different and you don't attract the people that aren't called to that. But I think that deep down inside, it's just in most people. Some people are just better at not acknowledging that they want to be seen, that they want to be heard, that they want to be understood. Like, I didn't even know that's what I truly, really wanted. I mean, I know that once I started to see you, but then once I was in You Make Sense, I realized how significant it is to have a group of women around you that are real and raw and no judgment, just authentic women that all have everybody comes with a different story, but everybody wants the same thing. And it was just, I know we can put these hard shells up around us to be like, nope, nope, nope. But there came a time for me when I first started to come to see you that I was like, no, I'm ready now. I'm tired of being hard. I do think it comes to people when they need it, or see like working through stuff like this.
Yeah. Too, I just want to say, like, we don't know what we don't know. And so of course we don't know that like going into a group of other women is like a good idea. For most people, it sounds like a really bad idea because we've been hurt, right? And so, the folks that usually kind of drop in my lap or drop in my groups are folks who will say, I've always heard I'm too much, or I want more out of life. I know there's something more for me, but I can't put my finger on the pulse of my own life. Or I just don't feel safe in my body. Or, I'm really struggling to connect in an intimate way, whether it be erotically or depth of communication. And I am so lonely, even though I'm in a relationship, or I'm so lonely, even though I have friends around, or I'm just so lonely. And it's like people just feel like they don't make sense, as you said, because there's all this armoring around our beautiful hearts and our beautiful dreams and our beautiful potentials and the things we're here to do in this world. If we really truly are going to live a life worth living, it's going to hurt. And it's going to be beautiful, both and. It's always going to be both and. It's the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And when you allow yourself to be around other human beings who are willing to live and willing to love and willing to look at themselves, it's really contagious and it's so beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful in my life than watching another human being break apart old paradigms of who they thought they were to become more of themselves. It's the greatest gift of my life.
Well, it comes out of you, like in everything that you do and the person that you are. That is your life's work, like that. And I know that truly in your heart, that is you. That is the greatest gift to you. Like I know that from being around you, and you have totally created this incredibly safe space for me. And I was terrified to even see you to begin with. I was so nervous. And I think for the first 5 sessions, when I was by myself, I just cried. But I just felt so safe that I could do that. And you just opened that up for me. And then You Make Sense just was exactly what I needed at that time in my life. Honestly, if I could do it again, I would be doing it all over again. It was so, so incredible. And I learned so much about myself. And I know that I still have so much to learn. I felt at the end of, so we did the first 6 weeks and then the second 6 weeks. And I truly felt at the end of the second 6 weeks, I was like, I'm ready to kind of let this all integrate in and to work with this newness that I found in myself. And so I was, I felt such a huge shift in myself since then. And I'm still, even now, still understanding pieces and little bits of what You Make Sense was and the things that happened in it. Something will happen in my life. I've got all these amazing tools now that we gained to kind of navigate through our life. Obviously, I've seen you since because I felt I was at a place where I just like, and you said it when I came in, you're like, you just need to be held. You just need to be held. And totally. And so, that's something that I don't think will necessarily ever go away. But the tools that you gave us and You Make Sense and You Make More Sense have helped me navigate some things since that ended. And I'll forever be so grateful that you've shared what you do and your beautiful gift to us and that you offer this to people. Ooh, I just got
Yeah.
goosebumps. Because I don't know if there's many people that offer what you offer, Christine. I don't know if I know that there's people around, but you offer something that I never even knew that I needed, So I think that it's so awesome.
I think that one of the things that I believe is the frequency of who we are or how we vibrate or what we bring to the table. It supersedes language. It supersedes it. And so it doesn't matter what we say. It's who we be. And so you're right. Lots of people would offer lots of things and it will resonate with lots of other people. And that's fantastic. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And then there will be things where, my frequency and my vibration match another set. And it's like, that's how it's supposed to be. And that's why we have that, just be authentically who you are and you will attract the people meant for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And within You Make Sense and You Make More Sense, we learn all the things and it's not just a data dump. It's not just read this, do that, tidy it all up and off you go in life. This is meant to go, okay, babe, look, this is one of the things you're rumbling with. Take a peek at it, be super kind to yourself, and then go out into the world and try to implement the things that you're doing. And you will always hit new edges and new bumps in the road. That's humans. That's just common humanity. You're going to hit the little bumps in the road. But the thing is when you have a group of women and you've learned that the women are really can be like really wonderful. All of a sudden you feel like you have a force field behind you that is like extremely potent. And you don't even have to talk to them all the time. But you know that you make sense and you are one of the women who are repairing, relationship with other women. And that in and of itself can take you through your life. So the stuff that you learn and You Make Sense is meant to go with you through your life. And what's also true is absolutely we need to be held at times. Absolutely we need to, do the next upgrade to ourself or, our soul comes calling and says, I want to learn more about something or, I want to play in this kind of arena. And it's like, okay, let's go. I'm willing to rumble again. Let's go. That's living.
It is living. Let me tell you, that is living. I've never felt like so alive as like my true self, the person that I know that I am, but was all those little like things that happen in your life that take you away from that, kind of thing. I definitely feel that for sure. My sister's so curious, Christine, about an experience that I had in You Make Sense. It was the experience that you didn't ask me for permission to do. And it was when we had to we had to stand like a foot apart from each other. I can't even remember what we had to say to each other because, well, it rattled me up in a really good way.
I know the moment. And so Can I just jump in?
Yes.
Okay. So this was the first start of the second You Make Sense, or You Make More Sense. And Krissy, you had to leave early that day, or like right on time, right? And we were going to do this really cool experiment where we hold space with one another and we hold somebody in the energetics or the frequency of you're a conscious being with choice, meaning I don't have to change you, fix you, transform you. There's nothing I need to do except hold this beautiful carrier wave that just says you are a conscious being with choice, meaning I love you just as you are. So my whole thing is around consent. Like I am consent queen. I really dig consent. And I blew it. I totally blew it. And I was like, okay, Krista, you be my person. Come on over here. And I was like, as soon as we were just starting, I was like, oh shit, oopsie. And then I connected in with something greater than myself. And I thought to myself, if I was willing to bypass something so, so important to me like consent, I have to trust. And it wasn't bypassing the fact that I missed it. I missed it. I'll take responsibility for that. So it's not like I'm, trying to white light the fact that I screwed it. But then I leaned into the trust and I was like, for some reason, I blew it. So I'm going to trust this. And so Krista and I, we were sitting across from each other or standing in front or across from each other. And I let her feel what it was like for someone to hold your conscious being with choice. Krista, because you've brought this up, I assume that I have consent to just like speak a
Oh,
little
yeah,
bit about this. Is
absolutely.
that
Yeah, for
true?
sure.
Yeah.
I've tried to tell the story many times, but I can't.
Yeah. And what happened was to be held in that quality of wave or that quality of care and love, her system didn't think that was a good idea. And so a lot of freeze came into your system and a lot of like, oh my gosh, like what does this mean? And so oftentimes when we actually are seen or really feel cared for, it can blow our circuits. It can really blow it. And so your nervous system completely got hijacked. And I was like, oh shit. And then I wasn't able to completely repair at the end of that because you had to run. And so it was one of these things that was, as you know, as the facilitator, I got to really learn a lot and trust in the process. So, did I learn? Absolutely. Will I do that again? Not without consent, not a chance. But I also trusted in the group. And I also trusted in the field that we all had created together. And I also knew without a shadow of a doubt that you'd be held in something that was going to unwind you and unweave some old things and some old armoring. I knew it, and I was like, well, I'll be here should she need something. And sometimes within our lives, as we all know, we've all been in them. It's some of those big shakers that get us moving. It's some of it's like you gotta, usually for most people, it's illness, it's a divorce or a separation or a death that shake us to our core that really says, you better move it, buddy. Like you are stuck and you got to figure this out. And in this moment, I was like, oopsie, like the consent breach, it was a breach and it was going to move things, but we also had 5 more weeks. And so I knew it was going to open something beautiful in you, or I trusted. I'll say I trusted. I didn't know. How would I know? Does that answer the question?
I would say that was probably one of the most profound moments for me and You Make Sense, because I felt totally safe, but I also felt like blown wide open. Like it was such a weird thing. I was like,
Right.
oh my God, like this is the craziest thing I've ever felt. But then I know that the next day I messaged you because I had to go to work and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through the day. And you gave me some like really good tips on how to do that. And anyways, and then at our next class, you know, apologized for not like no consent. But for me, that was one of the things that really like it just really was like, holy shit, like I've got this. Like it just opened something up inside of me that I didn't even know really existed.
Well, I think it's always just about a remembering. I think all we're
Yeah.
ever here to do is just help each other remember our potency, our brilliance, our beauty, our aliveness, our you know, our sensuality. Like we're just here to help each other. I really believe that. But I do want to speak to the fact that so many times people who are sensitive, like, and I'm not meaning sensitive, there's so much stigmatism around sensitive. I'm like, I'm highly sensitive. I'll own that. I
Mhm.
love the fact that I'm sensitive. It's like, but the people that usually come and play with me are sensitive or, you know, like highly tuned, like their little feelers are highly tuned. And in a world for highly attuned people where people never, or I shouldn't say never, but don't apologize for breaches, we just feel more and more crazy. Right?
Right.
Like if I wouldn't have owned that and said, you know what, Chris, I crossed there. That was not okay. I'm not collapsing in front of you. I'm not making it a humongous deal. I'm saying I screwed up. And whatever your emotions were around that are warranted and it's okay. And how many times in our lives would shit change if people actually owned the fact that they crossed something? And it doesn't have to be the end of a relationship. It actually builds the relationship. It builds it because I trusted the fact that I could repair that. If I didn't, I would have been shitting my pants. But I'm like, oh no. Like I will fix this with my sister. And I will also trust that whatever unfolded was divinely divine. Like I had to believe that.
Yeah.
But we don't usually come back into communication around the repair. And that is typically the missing link for the folks that I work with in my trauma practice. They didn't get the repair. They didn't get
Right.
anybody taking responsibility or validating how they feel. And especially if they're, you know, very energetic or very sensitive folks, people don't help them make sense of why they would have the feelings inside themselves, like help them make sense of who they are,
Mhm.
validate the fact that they have these things happening, because in the normal world, people don't feel the way that a lot of us do.
Mhm.
And so we really feel like we don't make sense. And so when you come around people and you're like, holy doodle, I make sense. I'm just like all these other folks. It's like, yeah, you are. Me too.
Yeah. I think in the job that I have, I know that. I'm always like, I always say, you know, everyone has a story. Like, we are all human beings. No judgment, you know, but easy to say when you're a professional in what you do and you work with people. But then when it comes to yourself, like for me, I feel oftentimes that I don't fit in. But doing You Make Sense was like, it was me I wasn't fitting in with. Like, I was judging myself so hard. I realized it wasn't so much about the women. It was more what was going on inside of me that was preventing me from deep connection, because I wasn't like allowing myself to be my authentic self and to connect deeply with myself. So therefore it was preventing myself from doing that with other people. So that's something that I know that has really changed significantly for me. And I'm so grateful for. That was definitely a gift for me. I will tell you that.
You know, I'll leave you with this big kind of nugget that it really is the relationship that comes down to the self. It's the one and only. We come in this life by ourselves, we leave by ourselves. And so when we can truly authentically be whoever we are, whether it's quiet, whether it's bold, whether it's sexual, whether it's timid, whether it's, who gives a rip what it is, as long as it's you, as long as you are really able to stay in your own skin and feel safe in that and be like, this is who I am. And you may not like it. Hell, there's parts of me I don't even like, but it's like, I'm willing to be able to be with it. Right. And it's like, oh my goodness. And it's the one single love story that will forever be worth everything, worth writing, worth co-creating with source, universe, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, with people. But it comes down to, you know, we just need a place to play and a place where it's safe to be whoever we are, whatever that looks like.
Beautiful. Love that. Stacey, do you have any
not burning questions? My husband's best friend passed away tragically, and it was a pretty eye-opening at that point to realize how many people were dealing with trauma every single day and were going through life kind of like zombies, saying like, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And from that experience, I really learned to I often say, go with grace when people are having off days or they're struggling or they're just not themselves. I'm like, go with grace. We do not know what people are dealing with in their private lives because we are like straight face, just putting a day of work in and trying to move on. I just never really want to jump to conclusions why people would ever behave in the way that they do, because it's just like, I don't know their struggles. And so that's kind of what I'm hearing a lot of, is just people have stories, like Krissy says, and we just need to like accept them where they're at and give a lot of grace in life.
I love that, Stacey. That's exactly it. And to ourselves too.
Mm-hmm.
To others, but also to ourselves.
When I know that people are struggling, I'm like, be kind to yourself. Like, you just like, people need constant reminders. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself, because it's the struggle's real.
Yeah, it's called life. Life is like being in a dinghy on the ocean, right? Like, you're going to get hammered sometimes, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Christine, do you have anything you want to say?
I just want to say that I really appreciate you letting me into your listeners' world, regardless of how this lands for folks. I hope that it was able to just speak to that part of all of us that just wants some more depth, just wants some more grace. Stacey, as you say, it's like it's right at our fingertips, truly. And sometimes we just need a permission slip in order to have it.
So beautiful. Your words are very wise.
So just so everybody knows, I do have a new You Make Sense class coming up on September the 24th. And so, yeah. And then for you guys, Krista, I'm having something for you guys too with alumni. So just know that something's coming up. Put it in your books. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, there's my Facebook, Instagram. I think you guys usually do show notes or something, I would suspect.
Yeah, we'll put your information in there 100%. Well, should we roll into some peaks, pits, and plans? Are we at that point of life here? All right, Sissy, you go first, because Christine and I, we're chatting up a storm here.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so pits. I'm sore. My body is sore right now. And Chrissy and I were talking about this on the drive back to Calgary. So my legs felt like just lumber, dead, like lumber, big stumps. And my feet have been hurting. And I was saying to Chrissy, I feel so old. And her response to me was, if you think it, you are. Or like, stop thinking like that. And I agree. Mind over matter, your thoughts create your reality. Those are the things I do believe, but I'm also going, but I'm trying to be body aware and going like, what's my body telling me? And so I was like, well, I'll use the language that you and Krissy have been using. I was rumbling with that when I was lost in the trees today. And going like, where do I actually fall in this middle? Going like, I'm trying to be body aware and listen to myself. I think when I was in my bathtub, because I did like grapple with this today. I think it's the language about being old. That's the problem. Not my body. Like, if I'm like, okay, my legs feel like stumps and my feet are really hurting. Like, okay, that's good to know. What am I doing that I should be fixing? But it's the language around aging that I'm, an old lady that I just probably got to check myself. So Pit was like my sister calling me out, because she was right. She's right. But
okay,
I'm good.
Let's all take note of this day, because it is rare that I ever get told that I was right from my big sister, Stacey.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyways, my body's been hurting. That's what's going on. That's the pit. But getting called out by my sister maybe is a little bit of a peak and a pit at the same time. Well, The peak, though, obviously, we talked about it last week on the podcast. Krissy and I were going to be connecting and going in Rocky Mountain House and going to the chuck wagon races, and they did not disappoint. It was thrilling, so exciting, great to be with family, but whoo, those chuck wagon races are something to behold. And I think we should all try and get out to them every now and then because it is fun, like really fun to watch. And Krissy and I are whooping and hollering, and it was great. Yeah, it was so good. And Rocky Mountain House is just so good for our souls. It's divine to go up there. And then just plans. It's quiet weekend coming up. So for me, I don't have a lot going on. It's my mom's birthday this week, so I will be celebrating her somehow from this way. But yeah, just a quiet week for me. Nothing on the books, which is pretty exciting. Sis, did you want to go next?
Christine, do you want to go in the middle or do you want to go at the end? Where would you like to go at?
I love a good sandwich.
Perfect. Then it is you're up to bat here. It's your turn.
You got it. So my pit this week, I was watching TikTok and they were talking about animals that, were passing away and dogs and stuff like that. And so, man, I hit some anticipatory grief that just, whoo-wee, like it was intense. So I've got a little, well, she's not a puppy. She's almost 2. But, and so she doesn't have like a long lifespan. And so I hit that anticipatory grief in just a real way. But the peak in that was that I was able to feel it. And so I really was able to hold the both and the duality of this hurts so much that it feels like my bones are going to shatter. And holy man, am I grateful to have a heart so willing to love that it can take my breath away. And so those are just, I'm so grateful for just for my willingness to really feel both and. My plans, I am heading up north to a place called Namib, and it's about half an hour from Larange for the week. And that place just speaks to my soul. And so I am going there and I have full intention of having majority of my food ready, because one thing I find is if I go camping or if I go on excursion somewhere and I have my food all prepped, I can drop into a place of like self-reflection, self-connection that is just to die for. So that is my plan.
You are speaking my love language. I love food prepping. That's awesome. But also that you're going to somewhere that is so magical for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll go. I don't have any peaks. I had a great week. Today's my birthday. Stacey gave me a great birthday gift when I saw her, so that was really lovely. I had lunch with my mom today, and I also hit the beach for a little bit with my girlfriend Kelsey. Oh, the chuck wagon races, like Stacey said, were awesome, and it just got my heart just pumping. I was just in the stands like, woo! Like so pumped. And then I was like, I need to know everything about this sport and I need to know everything about the outriders. I just became totally fascinated because that's what happens with me. Anyways, so that was all good. So great. So I've had a really lovely week. Another peak too is obviously having Christine on here because it's such a gift to have her here. So that just makes my heart sing. So that is also a peak. My plans. Well, I actually have a busy week, which I don't love to do this to myself, but it seems like when I make plans, it all falls in one week. So I work tomorrow. I work a late night. Then Wednesday, I'm going for a walk with a friend. And then Thursday's ladies' night golf night. Friday, a girlfriend wanted to take me for supper for my birthday. And then on Sunday, I'm going to go to the farm. So I got a lot of things happening, which I don't always love that because I get overwhelmed, but I'm just going to be spending the week with a lot of really amazing women. So that's what I'm doing this week. Christine, why don't you remind people where they can find you, your social media and stuff like that, in case anybody's curious to connect with you?
Absolutely. On Facebook, it's Christine Stinson Borschneck. And on Instagram, it's at Christine Borschneck. I have a website. It's www.heartsamati.com, spelled HEARTSAMADHI, means enlightened heart.
Stacey will put all that in the show notes when we upload that up. And then, of course, you can find Sister Social Call on Instagram. You can find myself on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and you can find Stacey on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I think that's going to wrap it up for us, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us and for following along with Sister Social Call, for all the downloads, and for making this so much fun for us to do. And I think that's going to do it for us. So love you, sis.
Love you, sissy.
Take care, ladies. Love you so much.